Assalamualaikum to my lecturer and my friend. Today I'm with my member team. We will present subject Organization Behavior MGM2233. First of all, we will introduce ourselves, and my name is Nur Shirley binti Abdullah, DBA 2024 28485, and with my friend presentation. Today we will start with me. So we'll choose the chapter 2, which is organization as a social system. Definition of social system is a group interaction is more effective and intensive than in people outside in a group. From Chapel and Chun, defined system is a group of individuals interacting with each other frequency with non-members when the system in the operation. For the next topic is about social system concept. So we have 4 concepts. First is social equilibrium. The second one is about the functional and dysfunctional effect of change. The third one is psychological and economic contracts. And the last one of the concept social system is of social equilibrium we can refer as achieved when there is dynamic working balance among all the independent subsystems. For example, on the organization, we have one worker who resign from the organization.
Organization change are necessary to maintain the organization productive in a competitive market. This change will have 2 types of impact. Firstly, there are functional effects. They are good improvement for the business to be more effective, like flexible working hours, making the employees more productive. Effects, they are negative improvement that can create problems like stress or demotivated employees if the flexible working hours are not handled well. When one joins a company, one is entry into types of agreement and economic contracts and psychological contract. The psychological contract is an employer agreement based on trust, respect each other, and fairness between the employee and the employer. Lastly, the economic contract is a signed agreement based on salary, job, working time, and benefits. That is expectation of economic rewards.
My name is Siti Nala Masara binti Mafitri. I'm from Liba 3B. So my part of leadership is impact of role. For role is we know that we are expected behavior with particular position or status in group or organization. Like as individual, we need require to many different of role, both on and of their job. So for example, employee include accountant, like a husband or a club president. So second is conflict. Role conflict occur is person is unable to meet the expectations of other. For example is manager. Manager may have different expectation toward his employee, how they should act in their role, while employee also may have different expectation of how manager should act or behave.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Kamal Zafri Kasim, and I'm from class Tiba 3B, and my current metric is TBA 2024-28489. And this topic I will be covering today is the types of role of conflict, which is 2.2.5. And there are about 4 types of role of conflict, and number 1 is intra-sender role conflict, and number 2 is inter-sender role conflict, and number 3 is inter-role conflict, and number 4 lastly is person role conflict. And let's go through each one.
Starting at number 1, we have intra-sender role conflict. The definition of intra-sender role conflict occurs when the same person sends conflicting or inconsistent expectation to a role holder. For the explanation, the manager gives instructions that contradict each other, and then the employee becomes confused about which task to follow. For example to this is that a manager instructs an employee to prepare a detailed report for analysis for a project and also to be submitted by the end of the day. This demand for quality clashes with the tight deadline, both from the same person, which is the manager. This is intra-sender role conflict. And secondly, is inter-sender role conflict. The definition occurs when different people send conflicting expectations to a role holder. For explanation to that, two or more managers or department assign tasks that conflict with each other, and the employee is caught between instructions from a different authorities. For example to this, an employee is in a company's marketing team is told by the creative director to focus on innovative branding, while the sales manager asks them to follow strict corporate guidelines that limit creativity. The employee, which is caught in between, has received mixed expectations from two different supervisors, and that explains the inter-sender role conflict. Then, comment number 3. We have inter-role conflict. The definition occurs when one person holds two or more roles with inconsistent expectation. For explanation, the employee has multiple responsibility or roles that clash at the same time, and they must decide which role to prioritize. For example, a department manager is also a part of the company's crisis response team. And during a workday, there's an urgent issue in the department that needs attention, but the crisis team also at the same time calls for an emergency meeting, and this person cannot fulfill both roles at the same time, and this is what calls an inter-role conflict between the operational and emergency responsibility. Because of in this situation, a department manager is facing the conflict and to decide which he need to be prioritized. It's either the company's crisis response team or the department that needs attention. And lastly, comment the fourth one, which is the person role conflict. The definition occurs when the role given to a person conflicts with their values, beliefs, or personality. An explanation: the employee is assigned a task that goes against their ethics, comfort, or personality, and this may cause internal conflict or emotional stress. For example, an employee who values ethical transparency is asked by the superior to withhold key information during a client presentation, and the request clashes with the employee's moral value, causing a discomfort and possibly hesitation to perform the task. And that's a person role conflict where the role itself goes against the individual's core belief. And I would like to pass this to my friend. Moving on.
Impact of status is defined as a social rank of person in a group. When a person has status, he will receive recognition, honor, and accepted by others. So status become more important to other people in the society. Source of status have the level of education, level of position in organization, that is job, skill, and experience. So for status symbol is individual can be seen through. They have 5. The first one is location of workplace. Second is type and quality of furniture. And last one is facility given in organization.
Organizational culture. Organizational culture means the values and beliefs that are shared by all people in the company. This culture helps workers to know what is important and what is not. It is also helps them to know what is right and what is wrong in the company. Cultural revolution versus cultural evolution. Cultural revolution happens when change happens very fast and suddenly. This can shock the workers and make them feel stressed. For example, a new role is started immediately. The normal working hour is changed to shift hour without warning. Some workers may not be ready. Cultural evolution happens when change happens slowly and step by step. This gives time for workers to prepare, so they feel less stressed. For example, the company gives notice before changing to shift working hours. Dominant culture versus subculture. Dominant culture means the main values that are shared by everyone in the company. It is the most powerful and important culture in the company. All workers follow and practice this culture to help the company. For subculture, subculture is the culture in the one department or team in the company. Each department may have its own way of doing work, but they still follow the main company culture. Example, the finance team has their own way of working, but they still follow the company's main rules and values.
It's me again, and the 2.2.3, and that is function of organizational culture. And the organizational culture helps to clearly define each employee's role within the company. It sets boundaries by outlining what is expected, what is acceptable, and how individuals should behave in different situations. For example, in a highly structured company, culture may emphasize following a strict chain of command. In a more flexible one, employees may be encouraged to take initiative across department. This clarity helps reduce confusion and ensures everyone understands their responsibilities. And for number 2, it provides a sense of identity. A culture also provides a shared identity for employees. It helps individuals feel like they belong to something bigger, a team, a department, or the company as a whole. People start identifying themselves not just by their job title, but also as a part of the organization's unique community. This sense of identity can increase loyalty, pride, and motivation amongst members. And lastly, the third one, which is the guys' understanding of how things work. The organizational culture helps members understand how the organization operates, including why decisions are made, how problems are solved, and what values drive the company. This unspoken understanding helps employees align with company goals, adapt to changes, and collaborate more smoothly. It's like the unwritten rulebook, but guides behavior when no formal instruction is given. And for the conclusion, in summary, organizational culture, which is defined rules and boundaries, provides a set of identity and guides understanding of how things work. Together, these functions shape the overall behavior, unity, and effectiveness of the organization. And that's it from the group, and thank you.